as we have been describing it for years and years, going back, as Mr. McCann suggested, 20 years. I'm hopeful because we have a Democratic governor that's talking about real cuts and not cutting, as in years past in New York State, funding to programs and mandating the services on the county level. If indeed, Mr. President, we actually see and realize real cuts, we will begin to see relief from unfunded mandates. That is what shackles property taxpayers in this community. That's what keeps us from innovating with our budget, unfunded mandates. But I remain hopeful. Despite the fact that we've heard words that are pejorative, like control board, like irresponsible, like bankruptcy in the near future, I remain hopeful. Certainly I don't think Erie County is an excellent example about how to solve a budget problem. I know that they got a control board, but they eventually used property tax to solve their budget problem. I think that when you look at spending from a county level, and you look at the hard work that this administration has done historically, you find reason to hope. Certainly it is not a new concept for this administration or for this caucus to address the issue of the portion of the budget that we do control with regards to spending. Every government, whether it's village, city, town, or county in this state, has been working to solve their funding issues, their spending issues. Certainly the city of Rochester should be commended just from this standpoint, reducing the percentage that they spend on their workforce by 5%. Onondaga County, the county that we benchmark characteristically towards, has reduced their workforce by 7%. But understanding completely for years the pressure that's placed on counties by unfunded mandates, Monroe County, since 2002, has reduced its workforce by 10%, the amount that it spends on its workforce by 10%. And there is example after example after example of that sort of restraint in spending, reduction in spending, line by line, from department to department, that has been in each and every budget that I've examined since I've been in the legislature. The administration should be applauded for having such forethought and for behaving with such fiscal responsibility. To characterize it any other way defies logic, and in fact it defies a line-by-line analysis of the county budget. This administration has been more than diligent in reducing costs in this community. Can more be done? We'll see. We should work together and look at these issues. The administration has cooperated in that regard with the bipartisan budget work. They've given us unprecedented access to information, to data, and in fact we will be considering ways that it will be even more transparent later in this budget. They've given us access to our auditors and allowed them to question them at these meetings. For these reasons, I remain hopeful. This budget gives me hope for this reason as well, in that it has its priorities exactly in order. First and foremost, it puts the taxpayers of this community first. It doesn't increase taxes to the people in our community. The reason that we suffer in New York State and counties isn't because we pay too little in tax. We pay too much. I remain hopeful that there will be a solution to this problem. I am happy now that we have a governor that's talking about these issues. I am hopeful that now that we have a Democratic Senate and then a Democratic Assembly and a Democratic governor, that the minority caucus will work diligently with the Assembly delegation to help bring real mandate relief to this county. That is my hope. I remain hopeful. I am optimistic. This budget is in compliance with the Taxpayer Protection Act. It is balanced and it is deficit-free. As I mentioned, the tax rate is kept flat, and I will continue to mention that. As a property taxpayer myself, and after having talked to several taxpayers, hundreds of taxpayers about this issue, it's the #1 issue on their mind. It's the issue that drives people, particularly retired people, out of this community. So I'm hopeful for the reason that this budget, as proposed by the county executive, has exactly the right priorities. I pledge to work diligently in a bipartisan way with the members of the minority. We can always benefit in this community by us working together. I look forward to supporting this budget. Thank you very much.
Further discussion? If not, will you please have a roll call vote?
Mr. Quattro.
Yes.
Mr. No.
Mr. Adair?
Yes.
Ms. Andrews? No. Mr. Barker?
Yes.
Mr. Beebe?
No.
Mr. Cassetti?
Yes.
Mr. Colby?
Yes.
Mr. Cruz?
No.
Mr. Danielian?
Yes.
Mr. Dobson? Mr. Driscoll?
Yes.
Mr. Eckel? Mr. Esposito?
No.
Mr. Gamble?
No.
Mr. Gumino?
No.
Mr. Haney?
No.
Mr. Hannah?
Yes.
Mr. Hyder?
No.
Ms. Kaylee?
No.
Mr. LaFountain?
Yes.
Mr. Lee?
No.
Mr. Lightfoot?
Absolutely not.
Mr. McCann?
Yes.
Mr. O'Brien?
No.
Mr. Tucciarello?
Yes.
Mrs. Valerio? Yes. Mr. Yolovich?
Yes.
President Zyra?
Yes.
Okay, right here.
Motion passes. At this time, we're going to take a short recess and meet anything else on matters of emergency don't wander too far. Take longer. 5 minutes.
Blackberry.
Just running the back. We'll be right back.